Thank you for tuning in to Cop with Comic. I'm Brian Koppen. We're with comic Chloe Mikala. Chloe Mikala, how the hell are you?
Hey, I'm good.
Good. Thank you so much for coming on. We follow her everywhere. She's ChloeMikala.com, which is just choice real estate. Chloe_Mikala on Instagram and also on Twitter. Yeah, Chloe_Mikala. There's only one funny Chloe Mikala worth following on social. So she has that. She has those, but also My Best Friend is Black show, and that's on Instagram. It's My Best Friend is Black show. Is that still going? And when's your next show? And what's kind of
Oh
what's
yeah.
the through line on who you're booking for that? Are they Black?
Yeah. So we're still going. We just celebrated our 1 year anniversary this past October. Um,
Congratulations.
Thank
Not
you.
enough
Yeah,
people
we're
are congratulating you for that achievement. I mean, to put on it, is it
yeah.
weekly, monthly?
Yeah, so it's a monthly. We do have a residency on the south side of Chicago, and our final show, our tentative final show with them, will be December 16th at the Arts and Public Life. But we do have a monthly show the fourth Thursday of every month at 8 o'clock at the Lincoln Lodge here in
Whoa.
Chicago.
Yeah, I hear that's pretty awesome. I
Yeah.
just talked with Luke Ipsum, and he said the Luke Lincoln Lodge is the place to be.
Oh no, yeah, it's the number one place that I recommend for anybody coming in to see a comedy show.
And where is it? Because yeah, when I was in Chicago, I normally tried to live Belmont Broadway and East Lakeview. Where is it compared to there?
So it's like oh God, southwest of that. It's in like the Wicker Park area. It's right off of
Uh,
Milwaukee.
okay,
Yeah, so it's near the Western Blue Line. If
that's where it's hip. That's
that
where all
helps.
the hip creatives hang out.
Yeah. So that's where they are. They used to, though, I found out because I only lived in Chicago now for like 3 years, but they used to be more on the north side at the Newport Theater, I believe is where they used to be at.
Okay.
But yeah, now they're down there. But
And so
it's really cool. It's a cool space.
I see you were on a Keenan Thompson show at the Laugh Factory. Is the Laugh Factory at Belmont Broadway?
Yeah. That's where they are.
There you go. Because yeah, I still have never been there. Is it a good venue?
Yeah, no, it's a good venue. I just did a show there on Thursday, which was a really dope show. So yeah.
Now when Keenan Thompson presents, is Keenan actually there?
No, he was not there.
Come on. Come
No,
on. Well,
no,
he's not going to be on My Best Friend is Black show. Let me tell you.
no. I mean, if he can't show up to that show, I mean, yeah. What qualifies Keenan Thompson to be on My Best? No, I'm just kidding. Kidding, I'm kidding. If you want to be on the show, just let us know. We'll put you on there.
We're going to like Chloe Mikala. Now, in addition to being funny, she evidently knows about Game of Thrones and House of Dragons, and she's going to teach it to me because I've never seen a single episode. And I don't know that I really will unless
Oh,
Chloe Mikala gets me to somehow subscribe to HBO Max. Is that where it is now?
yeah, it's on HBO Max.
Okay, now
Yes.
is one show good and one show bad? What is House of Dragons a
Yeah.
spinoff, and is it lesser than the original?
So, in my opinion, yes. And I just want to say too, like I am one of the fans that like I'm always the fan of the TV show, but like I've never read the book. So like Harry Potter, I think I only read one book, but I love the movies. And
Yes,
like for Game of Thrones, I never read the books, but I
there were
love
books.
the TV show. Yeah, they were like thick
Okay.
ass books that like George R. R. Martin like still hasn't finished.
Oh yeah, that's the problem though.
Apparently.
There are thick
Yeah.
ass books.
And I don't have time for that. But like, if you make it into a TV show, I will absolutely watch it and dissect the shit out of it.
Okay,
Um,
but Game of Thrones,
so
that was probably a favorite show of yours.
yeah, and like what's
Okay.
so wild is I'm like a later fan, right? Like I didn't. I get now. I think I get anxiety when like there's like a big hype around something, so I have to wait for
Yes.
it to die down a little bit.
Yes. Exactly.
And I didn't start watching Game of Thrones until January of 2019, before the eighth and final season was set to come out.
Wow.
And I
Did you catch up in time for the controversial finale?
Oh, absolutely. I watched the finale like
Wow.
in real time and I was like screaming. I was screaming at the television. I was mad. I was angry. I was like, you all spent 2 years to produce this bullshit.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it was
why was
bad.
everybody
The
so
final
pissed
season
off
was
at it?
bad.
Did it not tie up loose ends, or did it tie them up in a way that was unsatisfactory?
It tied them up in a way that was unsatisfying and it just felt like it was rushed. And I And apparently
How
the
did it seem rushed? Was it low quality or just poorly
what
written?
both like so first of all, apparently HBO offered them like 10 episodes because normally in a season it's like 10 episodes.
Okay.
But these writers decided to squish it all into 8 episodes where some episodes were an hour and a half long.
Okay.
It was unnecessary. And
Oh.
the biggest like battle sequence between, humanity against like the dead, the White Walkers, you like couldn't really see it because it was just very dark.
It was truly literally dark color
It
wise.
was truly literally dark. Like it was very hard to see
Oh.
what was happening half the time.
I wonder why that was. Obviously,
There was
we
also
think that
the inf-
it was so rushed where they were like, these special effects blow. We have to darken this shit.
I have no fucking. I mean, it started like a downhill turn with like season 6, and like I don't want to say like too in defense of the writers, but George, like I think it's at the end of season 5 or the beginning of season 6 is like when the books stop. So essentially, everyone had
Oh.
to kind of yeah. So like
Oh
George R. R. Martin
no.
was like yeah, he
Didn't he
was a
stay involved
consult.
though? Yeah, he stayed involved, right?
He
He kept cashing
he did
checks.
yeah, then the bitch at the end after season 8 came out and everyone was pissed about it. He literally came out and was like, "Yeah, that's actually not how it's gonna end in the books." And I was like, "Bitch,
Oh.
yeah, yeah, yeah." So we're a
What
lot
were they
of
paying
I
him to
understand.
consult for? That is
I
throwing them under the bus
no
after he cashed
idea.
their checks.
Yeah, no, it was
Uh,
it was bad, but
okay,
I
yeah, but I didn't even know there's
yeah.
an undead, and so like I thought it was just some sort of medieval war thing that has a little person in it, Peter Dinklage, who I'm just not like I've seen him in comedy. And I just don't like take him seriously drama wise. But that's my own red wagon. Like really, like
Oh,
I think I think probably if I watched it, I would love it and
you
him.
would.
But yeah, so like at what point did they introduce undead, or was it always there? Like I just thought it was like living people fighting against living people.
I think if I'm trying to remember correctly, so there was always no, they actually introduce yeah, they do introduce them, I believe, in the first episode. I mean, I don't want to offer any spoilers for you if you're gonna like watch it,
Yeah, yeah, we'll see.
but
We'll see how good
yeah,
it. Yeah, we'll see how good the Chloe Mikala
but
defense is.
yeah, but they do introduce it. But it's just like it's just like a little drop. They like hint at it at the beginning, and it's kind of just like this whole like if you heard the phrase like winter is coming,
Yeah.
winter is coming. Okay.
Yeah.
So like that you hear that in like the first episode and it's like after they first introduce, the dead. So it's kind of like what's cool is like it's like this looming thing over like, a lot of the characters, but specifically the ones in the north. And then you have like the bougie people that like live at the capital, like in the south that like can't be concerned with anything at all.
Okay.
And that's like where you're first introduced to Peter Dinklage's character.
But like why what is the justification for having undead in there? Is it that I don't know, like they were successful with witchcraft to bring people back?
No, so it's like, oh, I don't want to like spoil it for you, but there's actually a reason as to like why these creatures were created, and
Okay.
it's basically humanity forced the hand of these like magical children creatures to so basically like humanity, because we are terrible people, we're like hunting down what were called like the children of the forest, and these like innocent like little like sprite like creatures, so like humans were hunting and killing
Oh
them
my
for
gosh.
god knows what reason. So in order to like defend themselves, these children of the forest created the White Walkers like out of humans, essentially. Like they like
Ah.
shoved what's called like dragon glass into them, anyway, created these characters, but then it just kind of got out of hand.
Oh shit. We were
And
shoving this
yeah,
dragon glass into people to see what happened. Oh man, that
yeah,
spiraled quickly.
yeah. So I'm not even blaming the children of the forest, because I'm just like, nah, humans created this mess and now they have to like undo their bullshit. But like that's
Okay.
not even the cool part. The cool part are dragons.
Yeah, so tell me, okay, now dragons are fake from what I've heard, like
Yeah.
unicorns. And so
But the Loch
how
Ness monster is real. I just want to plug that the Loch Ness
I
monster
mean,
is
so
real.
like at what like so they summon magical creatures, this dragon. I mean, like, what's to stop them from bringing back unicorns in Loch Ness? But I guess Loch Ness is, of course, real. Like, is it just we're supposed to suspend disbelief and believe that this is a world in which there are dragons, which are what, fire breathing,
Yeah.
flying things?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
so in Game of Thrones, this is like years and years and years and decades after like all the dragons have been destroyed, supposedly, right? Because
Oh,
in House of Dragons, I think it goes back like 175 years or something before we start out with Game of
oh,
Thrones.
it's a prequel.
And yeah, it's a prequel. So you
Oh,
see all of the dragons and like they are like hatched from these eggs and like they have these connections with the Targaryens and which is like a family. And then I forget, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting
but
the
so
other
on
family.
Game of Thrones, they like most of them were extinct by then, but there was some sort of woman who could summon a dragon or two.
Yeah, so it's like Daenerys, who's like the last Targaryen alive from like the Mad King, and everyone's like, "Ooh, all the dragons are dead," but here are these dragon eggs, and she's just like, "You know what? I'm the Fire Lady Dragon," and then she appears out of this like, she's a fucking crazy bitch. She walks into this flaming pyre with these three dragon eggs, and everyone's like, "No, don't do it," and she's like, "Fire doesn't burn me," and then afterwards she is revealed naked with these three dragons that have hatched, and everyone's like, "Holy fuck, she is the Dragon Queen and has these three dragons."
So she's
So
like a
yeah,
more immortal where she can walk through fire.
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
let me
It's
tell you,
dumb.
Chloe, I think I might have seen her naked. I'm not gonna lie to you. I hope it didn't spoil
Oh,
things for
Amelia
me.
Clark.
I think I might have seen that scene already. And now that you now they mentioned that she was new, I'm like, yeah, I've seen that 5 seconds before. Wow. But it would be hilarious if she just burned alive and the last three dragon eggs
Yeah, and they were just
fucking
like, "Oh,
died.
the series is over now."
So like why? So I mean, I guess that leads me to the question, did the series actually end such that there could not be a sequel and that's why there was a prequel? And tell me where the prequel falls short of people's expectations.
No, there could be a sequel. I just don't know if like people care. There was talk of like there was a really beloved character, Arya Stark. Everyone loved her. There was maybe talks of like people wanting to like see where her journey led her, but like I think people were kind of just like wiped by the end of Game of Thrones, that
Just
they were
sick of
like,
that
we
cast of
don't,
characters, right?
yeah,
Okay.
like we don't want to know what happens after this whole entire shit show.
Okay.
But there was intrigue, I think. I mean, the reason I was intrigued by House of Dragons because now it's just like, okay, let's see what led up to these events. Like let's see where the dragons came from, the Targaryens. Like let's see what the world was before all of this fucking turmoil.
And
And
new
that's what
actors. Give
essentially,
me some fresh blood in there too, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Which like the acting in this, I will say, is amazing.
Really? It's better? They were able to,
Yes.
because of their prestige in the later in the Game of Thrones, they were able to recruit the best of the best. The best of the best
Yeah.
unknowns, which is the best.
I wouldn't even say that it's better because the acting in Game of Thrones, I mean, was amazing. The acting in Game of Thrones was amazing. Um, House of Dragons is also really good, but
Is there a bunch of blonde people? That's what I see the most. Or am I
oh,
thinking
of
about the other
course.
show? Because wasn't there another prestige show that kind of did a spinoff that people were disappointed in, or am I only thinking of House of Dragons?
No,
But House of
maybe.
Dragons
I
was
mean,
all the
we're
blonde
always going to be
people.
disappointed. Yes.
But it was all the blonde
Yes.
people.
Yes.
Okay, and
Yes.
are they the Daenerys, whatever is? I almost said Daenerys
Uh,
Thomas because that's NFL, right?
well, all of their names, they're all the same, like in different, it's like Daenerys, Rhaenys, Rhaenyra, it's hard to keep. I don't
Okay.
even fucking know. Sometimes I'm just like, you know what, the daughter of this guy over here is Matt. Like that's how I have to describe it sometimes.
And it was a big childbirth scene and incest stuff. So like, what's making it good and what's making it not
Yeah.
so good? The
Well,
acting is fine. If the acting is cool, and obviously dragons are cool, right?
yeah, I mean, I'm here for the dragons and I'm here for like, I'm how they ended this season really is like, oh shit, like almost this season felt like very lengthy exposition,
Oh,
is
I
what I'm
hate
gonna
that.
say.
So
Yeah.
less action, like they're telling instead of doing.
Yeah. And
Or what
like
showing
more
what
act.
they're what you should show and not tell, but they're telling instead of showing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it wasn't until like halfway through this season where like stuff started to pick up. And then towards the end, ooh, shit popped off in like the very final scene. And like that's what Game of Thrones is like known for, is like one big surprising blow of a moment at the end of the season, and then they make you wait 2 years for the next season.
Oh
Like
my
that,
gosh. So
that's
that happened here. That
essentially
happened
how they
here.
keep you hooked. Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
popped
Some
off more
like,
often in Game of Thrones, right? Like there was just more action in Game of Thrones, right? And they lost the plot when they did House of Dragons.
well, I wasn't even lost the plot because like when I first was watching Game of Thrones, they definitely had exposition, and they did the same thing for the first season of Game of Thrones. I mean, how that shit ended, I was like, my jaw was on the floor because because Game of Thrones is known to, which is what I do appreciate, and I think is why they have so many people coming back. They are known to kill main characters and not give a fuck. So you like no one is safe. Like I was in Game of Thrones when a main character died, I was like, oh my God. I was like, no, they can't just, but they
Yes.
just, and that's what they do. They don't give a
Fuck
fuck.
those
They're like,
people.
nah,
Fuck
he's
them.
dead. We're gonna
Fuck
keep
them.
moving.
They did
Yeah.
that in
Yeah.
Blacklist, and I was so pissed off. I mean, I love the
Yeah.
Blacklist, and it's just like you start to care about these motherfuckers, but then you realize by the end that what Peter Dinklage and Maisie Williams are the only people who matter in that show. Were those the
Yeah. Well,
people who
it's just like,
survived?
how do
I mean,
you,
yeah. Where did they survive? Did Peter Dinklage survive, or can't you tell me?
yeah. No, he did. He did. He
What?
survived.
Well, so I mean,
Yeah.
like they didn't kill off the. I mean, they didn't kill off the main characters, I guess. But you're saying there's so many main characters, killing them off is easy for them.
I mean, yeah, they killed off. There was a main character in the first season who was so pivotal. Actually, two main characters died in this first season. Yeah, and you were like, "What?" One of them, you were like, "All right, I see that."
Yeah, I love that. I love
But
that because they're the series creator. It's like you think they're pivotal, but no, like into the entire plot line of the entire series, these people are not pivotal. But to make you care, that means they're good writers and good showrunners, etc. So I mean, I guess that brings up the question about Chloe Mikala's comedy, and that's how do you rope people in, keep them engrossed so they're pissed off by the end when you reveal a character in your life is dog shit. Like what's your persona on stage? What kind of things are you talking about? And does it have anything to do with dragons and incest and little people?
it actually doesn't all the time, which is why it's so wild. I just like, I don't know. I haven't I didn't start stand up until after the season 8 of like Game of Thrones, right?
Wow, you
And then
started
like,
everything in life pretty late, didn't you? Like, because you
yeah, I
waited till Game
did.
of Thrones right before. What happened in life right before season 8 of Game of Thrones that had you starting Game of Thrones and starting comedy?
I mean, I was an actor before I started. I mean, I'm still am an actor. But I was doing a lot of like comedy and in shows that I was doing. And then I was like, I'm just gonna do stand-up because I feel like I have like I'm always doing commentary. And I feel like that's my stand-up style in general. Like I love, and I also love telling stories. So a lot of my stuff is like I'm telling stories and then I'm like commenting, on life or like on those stories. So yeah, not a lot of, there was, in the sketch shows that I've done, there was I did write a sketch that did have incest, and that was inspired from Game of Thrones. So
See
that was my
everything we
inspiration
watch.
because I was rewatching Game of Thrones. Yeah, because I rewatch Game of Thrones once a year because that's how much I love it. So I was rewatching it, and I was in this sketch show, and then I was like, "Oh my God, I'm just gonna write a sketch inspired by Game of Thrones," and I did that. So
And how did it do?
Yeah,
Was
it was
the
great.
crowd into it? If they love Game of Thrones, they should love your incest sketch.
I mean, they loved it because the trick was like these two people were getting married, and then during our vows, they found out that these two people were brother and sister.
And then how did they react?
That were getting married.
How did they react to that?
Yeah,
They did not get married?
No. The two people got married. The priest that was marrying these two people did not know that we were brother and sister, so he was kind of like shocked and he didn't know what to do.
Okay.
But we had hired him to marry us, so he has to marry us. and the audience, they loved it. Once they figured, like, they put the pieces together, there was a lot of like, ooh, but then they were like laughing because
Well,
like
that's cool that
we
you
were
kind of
just,
hit the
yeah,
ball until the end. Like they're kind of slowly realizing that, oh my gosh, these people are brother and sister. That's
yeah.
wonderful. And so, but what, you said you like commenting on things, and so is some of your stuff. I mean, I guess stories would be personal, but are you saying there's
Mhm.
also kind of world, observations about the world? And if so, what's worth commenting on? Like, did you bring your distaste for the first episodes of House of Dragons into your comedy? Like, do you talk about that on stage, or no? Is it just more personal stories?
I think it's more just like personal stories, unless I can like find some sort of like anecdote or like parallel or like analogy with what I'm watching. Like
Okay.
I haven't necessarily found it yet with Game of Thrones, but I'm also a huge Grey's Anatomy fan.
Yes,
So
is
I've
that done, or
definitely
Meredith Gray's leaving, huh?
it's please don't. I mean, like, would I love to be on Grey's Anatomy? Yeah. Is it really terrible right now? Also, yes.
Oh, is it?
So
I
yeah,
mean, I
no,
liked it
Meredith.
at the beginning. It
It's
was it was
not.
pretty good. It was pretty it was must see television. They
Yeah.
also kind of roped you in with some action and
Hmm.
some kind of
It needs
character.
to
Like,
end.
we're gonna kill this character off because he harassed the gay guy on the show. Like, that's kind of where I
Yeah.
got off. I think I stopped watching it about that time. But Shonda Rhimes, I think I also watched Scandal for a while, and so
Love
who's that
Scandal.
white guy in the Scandal crew? That real he wasn't very talkative. I think he's gay too, like in real life. He wasn't very talkative.
Oh,
What's his name?
oh, the guy, I forget his name. I
But he was
believe
good.
it's like, yeah, he played Huck. No, he
Oh,
was
Huck,
really
yeah,
good.
Huck was good. And then
Yeah.
the president in Scandal, he was on Dexter, and like, very
Oh
briefly, he was a
God.
murderer on Dexter, which I watch Dexter all the time. But he was so charismatic as a therapist. I was like, man, this guy's got charisma oozing out his pores.
You
You
know
know, it's
who's the voice of Tarzan? Tony
really
Goldwyn.
in the big
Yeah.
cartoon.
Yeah, and the cartoon movie Tarzan, Tony Goldwyn is the voice of Tarzan. That blew my mind. It
Wow.
was wild. Did you also know Mel Gibson is the voice of John Smith? I couldn't look at John Smith the same way anymore. I was like, ew. I mean, I shouldn't look at John Smith that way, but like when I first watched it, I was like, oh, John Smith. And then I found out it was Mel Gibson. I was like, ew, John Smith, So that's what that happened for me.
But no, yeah, like at the Scandal, I think SNL did a sketch where it was Kerry Washington, and the fact, and the fact that whenever that president walked in the room, she turned from like super confident, super competent to super horned up. Just totally
Yeah,
horny in about 1 second. But that's that Tony guy's that he can do it, man. He's got charisma, and it was just so fun to see
he
on Dex,
does.
because you're a Shonda fan too. And so you're saying that the series is shitty now and it's still going.
It's
Whenever.
not, it's not my, it's not, it's, it fell off for me when like big major characters started to leave. So when Sandra Oh left, Sandra Oh is my girl.
Oh yeah.
She's my girl. I love her. Christina Yang. She did an amazing move for her career. I understood it. Her character was kind of, coming to an end. She left it after season 10. And then when Patrick Dempsey left, I believe it was at the end of or middle of season 11, and then
Ah.
Sarah Ramirez when they left. It was just like a lot of these people
Ah.
leaving, and my thing, I'm just not invested in the characters, and I appreciate the stories that they are telling because I believe that they're important stories to be told, but I do not care about the characters on this show. Like, I'm not, except for Kai and Amelia. Shout out to ER Fight Master. They were a Chicago comic. They're amazing.
Oh.
But that I care about their relationship. Anyone else I don't give a shit about. Owen Hunt. I'm so mad that Owen Hunt hasn't been killed off of this show. No shade to that actor, but I fucking hate Owen Hunt. It infuriates me seeing him on that television screen. I was like, why is Meredith leaving? I want
Oh, that
Owen to leave.
motherfucker.
Everyone wants
Sure.
Owen to
That
leave.
guy's still on there. And
Yeah.
so he's kind of, he's not very likable, and his character isn't likable. I remember him early on. Was he always a heavy? Was he always somebody we were supposed to hate?
Was always annoying. He was, and Christina was like in love with him. And I was like, Christina, why are
Yes.
you in love with this
Owen
man?
Hunt. I had to
Like,
look him up.
like, stop it. Yeah,
But as an
no,
actor, he's probably doing a good job if you're supposed to hate him, right?
yeah, no, I mean, as an actor, I mean, he's also Scottish, which I think is so cool. Because when you hear his thick Scottish accent, you're like, okay, what? You're sexy now? Like, stop it. I hate you.
That
this
show
is
has such
no, I
hot
mean,
people on it. Like over time, that Justin guy, what was his name? Who was the
oh,
first
okay,
hot guy? Is it
yeah.
Justin Williams or something? Because he was a Calvin Klein model a while ago.
Okay, yeah, Justin Chambers, who played
Oh,
Alex
Chambers, yeah. And then there was
Correct.
the
When
other
he
guy
left,
after
yeah,
him, and
my
he was hot too. Who's the guy who had
so there
the
was McSteamy and
no,
there
not McSteamy
was
or McDreamy, the other
McDreamy.
guy. The
Oh
other
God, DeLuca.
no,
DeLuca was
he's like
hot.
he's a mixed race. He had a black wife. He dumped her when he got super famous. Who is
Oh
that? Oh, he's
my
gorgeous. What the?
God.
Oh,
Oh,
so Jesse
Jesse
Williams.
Williams.
Yeah, so
Yes.
Justin Chambers and Jesse Williams and some of the chicks on
Yeah.
there. Like I'm straight, but I mean I could admit that those dudes are hot, but some of the chicks along the way were just fucking amazing. And just like
Yeah.
Chloe Mikala's comedy is amazing, so we're gonna see her at the next My Best Friend is Black show. And when is that again?
Yeah. So we have 2 shows this month. We'll be at the Arts and Public Life on December 16th at 8 o'clock, and that is a free show. And then we will be back at Lincoln Lodge on December 22nd, and that'll be at 8 o'clock, and that is not a free show. But if you buy a ticket, it goes towards supporting Black performers because we are the only all Black comedy show in Chicago.
And the only black who is not welcome is Keenan fucking Thompson.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Unless
like Will Keenan says, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's like Keenan, we want you. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that we don't want you. Like, we want you. But like, yeah, you know what I'm saying.
So we follow her everywhere. It's Chloe Mikala, pretty much on Twitter and Instagram, ChloeMikala.com, but also My Best Friend is Black show. Chloe Mikala, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.